Hi dreamers, let's dive into the R in dreams, and it stands for revenue. As I've said before, this series is going to be more personal as I attempt to answer the question many of you have asked, which is, how did I get the capital in the first place to invest that $1.5 million? Now, if you haven't seen the intro or the D video for this series, I encourage you to go back and watch those first, then this one. So let's continue the story and lessons. At this point, I'm through college and grad school and about to focus on building income. Now, let me be clear. You and me, we are the same. Do you hear me? No matter what your training ground is, this community is here to unite around forward progress. So the first question to ask yourself is, what is your chosen training ground? What is the next level? How do you go from where you are now to a level up? There are trade schools, certifications, apprenticeships. I don't care what your training ground is. The first lesson in maximizing your revenue, especially when you're starting from no money, is to focus on your own value. Just like the stock market, the job market is called a market for a reason. It's about demand and how much someone will pay for what you can offer. If you're in a field you're not happy with or that you've found doesn't pay well, switch. Do research on other fields. Heck, there are some medical jobs that require less than 2 years certification, and they're desperate for people, offering $50,000, $60,000, $70,000, $80,000 for technicians. Look for the intersection of something you're interested in, could be good at, and pays well. My level up in business was an MBA. That was just my path, but honestly, if I picked another path, I would have found a level up there too. Just find it. Think, what is it? Then go do it. But that's not the end of the story in focusing on revenue. Are you ready for what I did? Getting an MBA was just the beginning. I was just getting started. Because my education was the only investment I had to make it count. And I knew it. So I was focused on how to maximize at every turn. Here's what I did. I interviewed with as many employers as would entertain me. Why? To get the broadest potential of starting salary offers I could find. Then I accepted the most enticing one and negotiated the most I could. Once getting the job, I made myself invaluable to all above me, to the side, and working for me. I did favors, did extra work, extra mentorship, helped everyone. In addition to just work satisfaction, no one wanted to see me leave due to this. In 2 to 3 years, I started looking for my next opportunity, internally and externally. At this point, I had many champions who made it clear to management I should be kept. So a promotion came my way, and that's another lesson. To get ahead, you will likely need a champion. You need someone in those budget meetings saying, hey, this is someone we want to keep and promote. If you don't have that right now, you might not be in a good position to rise up. And so back to the story. 2 to 3 years later, I start looking for my next opportunity. I was willing to do whatever it took, so I ended up moving states for a bigger job that came my way. And that's another lesson. What are you willing to do to level up? I moved and worked at a new job in an unknown city. And guess what I did 2 to 3 years later? I looked for my next opportunity. Every time I switched jobs, I gained about 20% more. I worked in multiple states. I started to become very good at negotiating, either to stay or go. I wanted more. Stock, signing bonus, yearly bonus, profit sharing, you name it. But I was very valuable too. And that's the part you can't forget. This doesn't work if you don't have the value to leverage. With each different experience, I actually got more valuable. And also got good at making sure there was a separation or severance agreement in place, which is more common as you rise up in rank. And a couple times I got severance as I was also starting a new job. So essentially being paid double for 6 months or more. Okay, any questions? You got that? That's job revenue. Once you master that revenue, you start looking for other sources. For me, I bought a house, lived in it, moved, but kept it, and started renting that out. So that was one of my first additional sources of revenue. Once I got my debt under some control and had a little money left over, I started thinking about how to put that money to work. I put some money into a higher interest savings account like Discover. which is now at 3% just for savings. Then I started putting it into CDs, which started kicking off interest. I liked that. But then, as I got more comfortable and sophisticated, I started putting money into dividend stocks, which I have about 60 videos on this channel so far. So you know all about that. Okay, so if I had to sum all this up, here's the main takeaways you should have from all of this. The first one is, you can't thrive if you are just surviving. Get out of survival mode as fast as possible and as early in life as possible. But to do that, the second thing is, you need to start thinking about how to actively take control of your job revenue. Take the steering wheel with both hands and think about the value you can offer. Try to think about it objectively. What do you need to do to be more in demand? What are you willing to do to make that happen? Take a class? Spend money on a certification? Move states? Move jobs? And the third thing is, once you have that job, look for a champion. If you don't have one, then you need to become your own champion. I once had a guy that reported to me come every year with a booklet that he prepared for me, outlining his accomplishments, deliverables, new certifications, new skills, competitive salaries out there that were higher than his, and, oh by the way, he appreciated my consideration. Wow. I remember thinking, this is what guys do that women don't. We wait around for someone to notice us. Sorry, but everyone is too busy and stressed out to be thinking constantly about what you need. You've got to know that. It's not personal. Don't let the years go by without taking action. And the last takeaway is, diversify your revenue sources as time goes on. Once you have some money, start optimizing it as well so that it starts to build as a separate revenue source. And there's so many ways to make additional revenue just through the internet or your phone these days. And voila, you can see how if you have many horses pulling your wagon, you start to really accelerate. Well, that's it for today. The next video in the series will be the E part of the equation. Another part I attacked and continue to attack relentlessly. What do you suppose it is? As a reminder, I'm not a financial advisor, so keep in mind these videos are for entertainment and inspiration only. I'll see you on the flip side.